Dillian the Body Snatcher White here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, I like John Fury, and I've been saying it for a few years that I do like John Fury, and we almost sing from the same hymn sheet at times. I will say many, many things, and then he will pretty much say the same things, and vice versa. Not that we're copying each other, not at all, just that we happen to have the same opinion on a lot of situations, okay, when it comes to the sport of boxing. But on this one, John, sorry, mate, I'm going to have to totally disagree with you and your thoughts, and I'll give you the reasons why in a second. And John Fury, he was asked, what does he think should be Tyson's next move, his son? And this is what he had to say. In my idea, it's Oleksandr Usyk next, or nothing. I wouldn't bother with the rest of them. They're not in Tyson's class. Would Dillian Whyte deal with Deontay Wilder? No. So why put him in there with my son and get him knocked out? John Fury's statement. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with him having an opinion at all, okay? He can say whatever it is that he feels, okay? But what I don't like, and I am going to disagree with John on this one, it wasn't so long ago, in fact, it's only days ago, really, when you were saying, John, how when Tyson gets past Deontay Wilder, it'll be right for Dillian Whyte to get a shot. The poor lad's been waiting around long enough. He deserves a shot. Tyson versus Dillian. You were saying this. So why suddenly now the complete U-turn? Now Tyson's done his job of getting past Deontay Wilder. Why suddenly don't you want to see this fight? Oleksandr Usyk or nothing? When you know Oleksandr Usyk is off the table. There's nothing that you or I, anybody, can do about it. Usyk is not available. He's fighting Joshua next. The rematch has been activated. And he can't run around suggesting that Anthony Joshua should step aside when you know fine well Tyson had the opportunity to get Wilder to step aside, but he didn't do it himself. Again, let's hold the same energy. And again, it wasn't that long ago either. You said that out of all the heavyweights, as much as Tyson Fury would beat every single one of them, you said that stylistically, Dillian Whyte would be the hardest for Tyson. You said this, John. So why suddenly now are you saying that Dillian, would he beat Deontay Wilder? No. So why get him in there with my son and get knocked out? And I think I know why, because when you watched back that third fight, I seen something in that fight, and you can bet your last penny John's seen it too. John knows. He knows. Now, if he's saying all this because he knows Usyk isn't going to be next, because not for the first time John said, just vacate the WBC belt and retire. Maybe he just wants Tyson to retire because he knows one punch can change everything. As good as Tyson is, he's not invincible. At some point, somebody can land something and knock him out. It can. Okay? So, whether you favour Tyson Fury to beat Dillian Whyte or not, whether you favour him to defeat Dillian Whyte heavily or not, or vice versa, Dillian to beat Tyson, it makes no difference. It makes no difference. The WBC have ordered this fight. You know this, John. The WBC have ordered Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte next. Provided, of course, Dillian gets through the Otto Wallin fight at the end of the month, which I believe he will. I strongly believe that Dillian Whyte will get through Otto Wallin. But it's a heavyweight division, and of course we have to be realistic. Anything can happen. Okay? But all going well, Dillian versus Tyson next for the WBC belt. The opportunity, John, that you've been shouting about for the longest time that Dillian should get. And now suddenly what, you're saying he shouldn't get it? This is very reminiscent of after the second fight, isn't it? When there was an opportunity for him to fight Dillian Whyte. But then, of course, Dillian, he lost to Oleksandr Povetkin, okay? So, of course, that kind of scuppered that, of course. But all the way up to that point, when people thought Dillian was going to win, there was so many people from Team Fury, no, we don't want that fight. What's the point in having that fight? Yada, yada, yada. There's no point in that one. Dillian Whyte's easy work. Oh, okay. And then when Dillian Whyte gets stopped by Povetkin, Frank Warren is sat there celebrating. A fellow Brit got knocked out by a Russian, and Frank Warren, who's all about the Brits, he's all about the fans and the British fans, is celebrating, laughing, singing songs about it. John Fury, on the other hand, he weren't laughing about it. Not at all. He says Dillian Whyte will come back and he will beat Oleksandr Povetkin. And of course, he was proven right. And it was only a few days ago as well when he was speaking about Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk. And he says, you heard it here first. I'll tell you. Joshua is going to beat Usyk in the rematch. John Fury said this. So if you're saying that the rest of them are not in Tyson's class and he should go fight Usyk, why? Because Usyk is in Tyson's class? When you've just said Joshua will beat Usyk in the rematch. Surely. But as I said before, he's seen something with Tyson. He's seen something. I saw it. Quite a few of you would have seen it too. So is this just his way of maybe getting Tyson to retire? If it is, fair play. Okay, of course, he doesn't want his son to risk it anymore. Okay, but let's not hype this win up too much. It's a fantastic win. We're all proud of Tyson. Of course, we're all proud of him. But the reality is, and it is the reality of it, he's just beaten a guy that he's already beaten twice already. That's the reality of it. People can say Tyson is the greatest heavyweight to have ever lived, and who knows, maybe he will be. But you don't get that accolade by defeating one guy 68 years ago in Vladimir Klitschko, and then the same guy 3 times. You don't get that accolade. There are other heavyweights out there, you know. It's not just Fury, Klitschko, and Wilder. It isn't. There are other heavyweights. All the other heavyweights, when you consider them to be the greatest, like Muhammad Ali, like a Joe Frazier, a George Foreman, like a Lennox Lewis, a Mike Tyson, and Evander Holyfield, and the list goes on and on, because they fought everybody. No heavyweight out there who's considered one of the all-time greats fought 2 people, only 2 people, and then we consider them the greatest of all time. No, that's never happened, not with any of them. So Tyson has to clean up the heavyweight division. Could he do it? Of course he could do it. Could he go in there and beat Dillian Whyte? Of course he could. Could he go in there and beat Joshua or Usyk? Of course he could. Could he go fight and beat Joe Joyce? Of course he could. Filip Herkovich? Of course he could. Andy Ruiz Jr.? Of course he could. And the list goes on. He could legitimately beat everybody, and rightfully so, he would be the favourite in all of those fights. But he still needs to prove it. And that's the truth of it, John. And you know this as well. You know this. You can't just give somebody a badge of honour for beating one guy 3 times. You can't do that, John. That's not reality. It isn't reality. Everything else is opinion. If you think that Tyson beats Dillian Whyte so easily, and you're not going to get the Oleksandr Usyk fight because you know it's not going to happen, then what's the problem? What's the problem, John? What do you want him to do? Vacate the belt? I don't want to see him vacate the belt. I want to see Tyson Fury fight Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's my guy. Okay, but I want to see him fight Dillian Whyte. And if he beats Dillian Whyte, congratulations. You have added a stellar name to your resume. You're adding to your legacy. What's wrong with that, John? Unless you're not confident. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.
This is the biggest platform in boxing, and I'm meant to be world champion. I'll go all the way.